For the following interview, Jorge Gonzalez, Vice Chairman and CEO of City National Bank of Florida, takes the stage of America Business Forum.
Thank God. Good to see you. All right. So, Jamie, before we get started, I just want to take a second and thank everybody for being here this morning. I wasn't here yesterday, but I saw a bunch of video clips, and yesterday's program was outstanding. The lineup of speakers, including President Trump, really reflects the stature of this event, but more importantly, it reflects the stature of the city of Miami and the influence that we are generating both nationally and globally. Jamie, I'm sure you've been to a lot of conferences, I've been to a lot of conferences, and I've never seen the lineup of speakers that we've had yesterday and what we're going to have today. And a quick story. Mayor Francis called me up about 2 months ago and said, George, I am thinking about doing this event. Here are my speakers, and we're going to make this happen. I said, Francis, you're crazy. You got 2 months to pull this together. Look at the speakers. You have the president, you have Jamie Dimon, you have a whole list of very influential people. You're never going to make this happen. But if you want to do it, let's try. And here we are. So, Francis, you're a little nuts, but congratulations on a heck of an accomplishment. So with that, I want to take a second and one more time welcome one of the most respected voices in global finance, one of the most influential bankers of our generation, Jamie Dimon.
Sure, thank you. So thrilled to be here. Thank you.
So, Jamie, my guess is a lot of people have heard a lot about your professional accomplishments, your career, and your impact of banking. But let's start with something a little bit more personal. And let's talk about how did your childhood and how did your family influence who you are as a person and who you are as a leader?
Right. So first of all, thrilled to be here. A little embarrassing, this whole entry, but it's quite a production. I grew up, my grandparents were all Greek immigrants who came from Greece, never finished high school, moved to Jackson Heights, Queens, not far from where President Trump grew up, with a slightly smaller apartment than he had, a rental. But there were values that your parents taught. You didn't even know was happening at the time, which is, I'd say very fundamentally, it came from my grandparents, my parents, have a purpose in life. That purpose could be banking or art or science or being a political leader. It could be a caregiver. Treat everyone with respect. Everyone, like everyone equally and everyone fairly and everyone properly. Do the best you can. You know, whatever you're going to do the best you absolutely can, and hopefully make the world a better place while you're doing whatever you do. And those are kind of those values that's embedded in me, and I still believe them, and they're important for my family, and I think they're important for a lot of folks I talk about. You know, when you talk about what actually drives them, it's things like that.
So you mentioned a very important word there, purpose. At what point in your life did you feel like you knew what your purpose was and your passion were going to be or needed to be or you wanted to be?
I didn't really. I guess I was in college, and I was always interested in business. I always read a lot. I always was interested in going out. My dad became a stockbroker, so I knew about financial services. But at one point, what I really wanted to do was help build a great company. Be part of the team, building a great company. I didn't know what I would be doing, but I knew that being part of a team, and anyone, I listened to Eric Schmidt, when you're on a team, and it's no different than team sports. You want the team to win, and that was kind of a driving thing. To me, financial services was fascinating because when you wake up in the morning and read a newspaper, almost everything in that paper is going to affect you. All around the world, stocks, markets, politics. So it's just I always found it a very fascinating field.
I'm going to skip around a little bit, but you just mentioned something that I struggle with every day, and I'm sure a lot of people here do as well. In today's environment where there's so much information coming at you, so much media, so many moving, fluid perspectives, where do you find the most accurate information that allows you to make decisions and to really set strategy for your organization?
Yeah, well, there are really two ways. I get up really early. I read 5 papers. I read everything people send me. I'm just constantly reading all the time, surveying the landscape of competitors, countries, and stuff like that. The second way is really just get on the road and get out with your management team, get in a bus and go to a branch and talk to a lot of people, because a lot of very smart people out there. And the best ideas don't even come from America. They might come from places you don't expect it, and you run into technologies, and you learn things. I remember years ago, I sent the consumer banking team 15 years ago to China. And they were like, why are we going to China? We're an American U.S. consumer bank. And I said, you'll find out when you get there. And I had them meet with Ping An and Tencent and WeChat and Alibaba, and it opens up your eyes. So just get out. I mean, I can go to a branch, you and I can go to a branch together today and sit down and talk to the tellers, and we will learn something. Something stupid that we do, or something that doesn't work, or something that they did better in another bank where they worked before, or something like that. So just constantly talking to people, constantly surveying the landscape. Yeah, I heard Eric use the word curiosity, constant curiosity. Once your mind closes, you're not going to be able to make a lot of progress on a lot of things.
Not only do you learn something, but you probably get the real story of what's really happening. By the time things get to you from a leadership standpoint, it's been filtered so many times, but when you're hearing it firsthand, it makes a huge difference.
Yeah, I don't allow people to filter stuff. I still read customer complaints, and I always tell people, if they ask you a question, you got to respond to me directly and not go up that chain of command, because that chain of command, starts to edit it and fine-tune it.